Good morning, Rain. How are you doing today? It's nice to see you. You set an alarm just to make it to my live. What time do you usually wake up in the morning, Meg? Good morning, Teresa. It's nice to see you again. How are you doing today? So, we will start today with some words from the book of Deuteronomy. So the book of Deuteronomy is the 5th book in the Torah, and it was likely written under the most explicit political circumstances. It was written in the time just before and just after the Babylonian exile, when the priests in the failed state of Judah were trying to consolidate their culture and figure out how they might survive the geopolitical catastrophe that was Babylon. I'm really glad you're here, Meg. And it's quite touching that you would set an alarm for this. It's helpful for me to be reminded that this little morning stream is indeed valuable for people who are not me. Yes, I am Jewish, Sinbad. Good morning, Jenny. How are you doing today? Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Well, Sinbad, I don't think I could claim to be Muslim, but I am praying to the same God that the Muslims pray to, mimetically speaking. Allah and El are basically the same dude. He's okay, I suppose. Listen, Israel, listen, you who struggles with El. Listen, son of El, Yahweh, El, Asherah, Allah. They're all one. They're all the same. Any distinctions we might draw between them are incidental, they're historical, they're contingent. But the thing that they are talking about has always been the same thing. The one thing that we are all made from, right? This whole universe. Do I work anywhere? I work right here, firefighter. This is my job. Doesn't pay particularly well, but it's my job, so I do it. That message does comfort me, Jenny. It does. I really appreciate your well wishes. ואהבת את ענת אלוהיך ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר נוחי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך וחיה כי ויחיה אלוהיך אל הארץ אשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם יצחק ויעקב לתת לך ערים גדולות וטובות אשר לא בנית ובתים מלאים כל טובה אשר למילאת וברות עצובים אשר לא עשת כערים וזיתים אשר לא נתת והלכת ושבת הישמר לך פן תשכח את יהוה אשר תישך מארץ מצרים מבית עבדים. And you shall love Yahweh Eloheinu with all your heart and all your soul and all your might. And these words which I repeat to you today, teach them to your children. And say them when you wake up and when you go to bed and when you are traveling and when you are at home. You shall bind them as a symbol on your hand and let them serve as a sign on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Repeat, repeat, repeat. And maybe if you repeat these words over and over and over, one day, just for a moment, you'll get a glimpse at that thing which connects you to everything else in the universe. Because you are it. It is you. You know, most of the time I say those words, I don't actually understand them. Right? I don't experience them or appreciate them in a visceral sense. It's just words that I repeat for you. It's a performance. But sometimes, not today, but sometimes I do get that experience. Right? I am reminded of my unity with everything else and the things that I'm worried about fall away. So, we're going to continue to read from the Enuma Elish. Right? This is a Babylonian creation story about a war between the gods. We've got Tiamat, this mother serpent. She creates hosts of monsters because her first generation of children rebelled against her, killed her husband. And so now we're going to read about a war. Good morning, Tanmak. So, where we left off, Anshar and Anu, two male gods, were talking about how they might defeat Tiamat. Anshar spoke anxiously, addressing himself to his son Anu. My dependable son, who is valiant as the Kasu weapon, who possesses formidable power and an unbearable charge, proceed to face Tiamat, and never fail to hold your position. Cause her fury to withdraw and reduce her rage into stillness. But if she fails to listen, then beseech her so as to appease her. And he heard every word that was spoken by his father Anshar, and then he went up the roadway, veering neither right nor left. Anu continued on, keeping a lookout for Tiamat's battle lines. But he did not make his voice heard, and instead returned. He went before Anshar the king, and humbly beseeched him, Father, the ways of Tiamat are far too potent for me to handle. I went in search of her root, but my spell was inferior to hers. She holds powers that are alarming. She is utterly horrific. The forces about her are supreme. None could stand against her. Her great din never subsides, being too much for me to take. Her voice struck me with terror, so much so that I headed back. Yet do not refrain, father. Rather dispatch another against her. No matter how strong a woman, she still cannot equal a man. These are all stories about patriarchy, every single one of them. No matter how strong a woman, she cannot equal a man. Thereby dispersing her legions and confounding her orders, this you must do before she overwhelms us with her powers. Anshar could not find words, but cast his eyes onto the floor. He ground his teeth and could give no encouragement to Ea, so that all the Igigi gathered together, and all of the Anukuki, and for a time they sat without speaking, lips closed, then spoke. Will not any god step forward, or is our fate predetermined? Will not anyone confront Tiamat with force of arms? Who will rise up as a hero to fight the evil dragon who created us all? Who could it be? Then, from his secluded abode, Ea set forth a declaration. Remember, the secluded abode is Anu, or Apsu, rather. It is the body of Tiamat's spouse, who was murdered as the first bout of this war. Then, from his secluded abode, Ea set forth a declaration. To all the faultless ones of Anshar, father of the mighty gods, him with a true heart, like a fellow citizen or countryman. That formidable heir who was destined to defend his father, who strikes fearlessly into the fray, Marduk, the champion. And he related to him the plans he had formulated, saying, Marduk, heed my counsel. Give ear to your father's words. The son of his who brings him confidence, go before Anshar, move in near to him, and make resolute declarations to him. All of his anxieties will take flight once you are before him. And Lord Marduk was well pleased with his father's words. Then he went and approached to stand in front of Anshar, and Anshar gazed upon him, and his heart filled with glee. Then he kissed him upon the lips, and put aside his fears. And Marduk raised his voice to be heard, saying to Anshar, Father, you must not remain silent, but rather speak to me, and permit me to go. Let me do that which you wish me to do. Anshar, you must not remain silent, but rather speak to me, and permit me to go. Let me do that which you wish me to do. And Anshar raised his voice to be heard, saying to Marduk, What sort of man will be willing to send you off to this war? Son, this is Tiamat, a female, and she it is who will attack you. And Marduk raised his voice to be heard, saying to Anshar, O father, you brought me to life, be glad and of good cheer, for soon your foot will be resting upon the very neck of Tiamat. O Anshar, who brought me life, be of glad and of good cheer, for soon your foot will be resting upon the very neck of Tiamat. Then Anshar raised his voice to be heard, speaking to Marduk, Go then, son, with my blessings, with all your superior wisdom, and cut Tiamat down to size with your perfect incantations. Go on your way at once, within the chariot of the storm clouds, so that her men cannot advance, but rather make them retreat. And he was gladdened, and spoke to his grandfather, saying, Ruler of the gods, deviser of the destinies of the high gods, if I am to be your defender and defeat Tiamat to preserve you, then assemble a commission, and proclaim a singular destiny, and rest content among the others within Ubushu Ukunaku. For my own words, rather than yours, will determine destiny. Whatever I accomplish will not be undone, never overturned, and the verdict that issues from my lips will never be rescinded. Marduk is a prideful one, isn't he? So that concludes Tablet 2, and tomorrow we will resume with Tablet 3, and we can hear how Marduk, the hero of Babylon, will slay the dragon Tiamat. Right, like these stories, these myths, they're all about the institution of kingship, right? Like, we live in a world full of democracies and dictatorships and governments upon governments upon governments. And it's easy to forget that there was a time where the establishment of government itself needed to be mythologized. So, oh, hi?
Do we need this?
Do we need that?
It's the filing receipt for Communes LLC?
We have a digital copy.
Okay, so you don't need that piece of paper.
Not really. I mean, I guess it would be a shame to throw it away.
I mean, like,
but
it's sitting around in the dining room, like... Sorry to interrupt your live stream for this, like, totally mundane... Here, I'll put it in this pile of papers.
Yeah, I'll hold on to it. That's appropriate. Yeah.
Can't just on the dining room. Are you warming up?
This is my life. I read epic Babylonian poetry, and then I deal with legal documents for LLCs. Right? But I guess that's the point, right? They're kind of the same thing. That one is an involved version of the other. Like, this was a legal document. Like, this was the original magic spell that said, yes, you can be the king, Marduk. You can do some acts of violence, and they can be noble and great, and then you can be king, and we can respect you for your
Nice
institutionalized violence. I like you. Bye. How is my heart today, Jenny? Mixed. Mixed. Full of doubt. But, I'm here. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm focused on it, and, I'm glad to share these stories with you. Good morning, Charlie. How are you? So, that's the Enuma Elish, right? So this story is 4,000 years old. We started with a roughly 3,000-year-old prayer, and now we're going to sing a 2,000-year-old prayer from the Bhagavad Gita. This is Arati. Arati is in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is an Indo-European language. It came down. It's one of the oldest languages we have. And the word Arati means flame or light, right? So here's our little light flame. It sits right there. And the Arati, just like the Enuma Elish, is full of foreign god names, right? Names of all of these ideas, these little memes that people had about the world. And when we say all of those names together, right, when we read these old stories, the thing that resonates with me, the thing that stands out to me, is how they're all connected, right? How, in all of the unique details, they all blur together and become just a single image of divinity, or humanity, really. The way that we conceive of power and society and ourselves. So, now we're going to say Arati, which means flame in Sanskrit. Jaya Jaya Arati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jaya Arati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jaya Jaya Arati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankata Harana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jaya Arati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jaya Arati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jaya Arati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jaya Arati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimutri Avatara Jaya Jaya Arati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskareya Jaya Jaya Arati Sanischaraya Sanischaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jaya Arati Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Guravi Jaya Jaya Arati Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jaya Arati Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jaya Arati Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jaya Arati Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jaya Arati Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jaya Arati Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Guru Bho Namaha Jaya Jaya Arati Venugopala Natatra Suyobati Natandrakaratam Nema Vidyobati Kutoyamagni Twameva Bantamanamandi Sarvam Dasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamune Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikaveri Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. You have a wonderful day too, Jenny. Twameva Mata Chapita Twameva Twameva Bandusha Saka Twameva Twameva Vidya Dravinam Twameva Twameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmanava Prakrite Sabhavad Karomi Adyad Mangalam Parasmahe Narayana Iti Sarmar Payami Savajamam Pravichayama Mikam Savernam Vraja Aham Svasarva Papayo Mokshayami Masucha. Whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these, I dedicate to you. Thank you all for being here with me. So now we will say Kaddish. And the word Kaddish means holy in Hebrew. And it is frequently associated with this prayer of mourning, the mourner's Kaddish. And this prayer reminds me of all of the suffering that is inherent in the world, right? We read this story, and what is this story is about? This story is about a war between the gods, right? The gods are not unified. They hurt one another. They punish one another. They vie for power, right? Very human thing to do. Very living thing to do. We live, we strive, and to have a body is to lose a body. So we live and we strive and we suffer. So we say Kaddish as a kind of public grief, right? We don't have many rituals of public grieving anymore, because the world has been privatized. But still, we can, for this brief moment, mourn together. Right? Let go of the things that we need to let go of together, and remind ourselves that we are all here on this planet. We will all live, and we will all die, and we will all suffer, and that is okay. You're renovating a camper, Courtney. That sounds exciting. I'd like one of those. I'm glad you're here. I hope you have a nice rest of your day. So, now let's conclude with Kaddish. The word Kaddish means holy in Hebrew. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah b'yama divrach yute b'yamlich ma'al b'chaychon of yomechon chayed kol beit Yisrael b'gala v'zman karif imru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah meva'arach li'olam olmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yirmam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei dekudusha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata d'yamiran b'yama v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mermav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mermav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yachol Yisrael v'imru. V'imru. Amen. Good morning, Paige. It's nice to see you this morning. How are you? That concludes our morning prayers. But I am hungry. So, I'm gonna go get some buckwheat and some seaweed. I'm gonna eat it. I'm doing okay. I'm not entirely sure how I'm doing, but I'm alive and I'm here and I'm with you. And that's pretty cool. I'll be right back. Same though. Yes, you're alive and you're here and you're with me. Isn't that interesting? How does sociality work? Who are we? What are we doing here? Paige, what are you up to today? Buckwheat on a spoon. It's steamy. Working. That is what we do. We're humans and we work. I'm working too. I'm gonna go out and make a film. My choice of vocabulary is never bland. Can I ask what word I said that made you say that? Buckwheat. Buckwheat. You know, buckwheat is not actually wheat. Lord Benedict Steambottom. That's quite a name. Where did you share this live to? Yeah, Meg, that's my elitism showing. I've spent my entire life inside the educational system, and it impacts the words that you use. For better and for worse. Yes, buckwheat is similar to oatmeal. It's a grain. Phylogenetically speaking, it's not a grain. Buckwheat is more closely related to spinach than it is to the other cereal grasses, like oatmeal. Oatmeal is a grass. But nutritionally, they're very similar. You can prepare them in pretty similar ways, and I eat buckwheat like oatmeal in the morning. Yes, Erica, I eat eggs almost every day. Yeah, I eat a lot of eggs. We have chickens here. My hair today, but it's so messy today, it's just a big poof. I haven't done anything special to it. I'm glad you like it. What are you eating for breakfast this morning, Rain? I mean, that is why I do this. Like, I don't really like eating alone. And eating on live, like, it's comforting. Oatmeal with fruit and almonds, so a very similar meal. I wish I had some fruit. Sebastian, I don't make that much Mexican food. My community is pretty white. But, we dumpstered a whole bunch of avocados the other day and I made guacamole. I guess that's Mexican, right? Avocados grow in Mexico. Volume for days. Volume forever. I could not remove the volume from hair if I tried. From Portsmouth. Crypto Gamer, how did you change the font of your TikTok chats? Rain, do you know that you've given me more roses than probably anyone else? I make you feel safe. That's really nice to hear. Thank you, Crypto Gamer. I'm doing okay today, Jake. I'll see you later, Jen. I deserve the roses. Deserve is a challenging framework. Who deserves what? And why do they deserve it? What does deserving mean? Does deserve mean that you earned something? Like, earning makes a little bit more sense to me, right? Like if you, yeah, we have roosters here, lady. If you earn something, you do labor, and you get compensated for your labor. But deserve doesn't necessarily imply earn, right? Like, everyone deserves healthcare, whether or not they earned it. So when people tell me I deserve things, I wonder. This is a morning ritual, Krugs. Yep. Paige, I imagine our houses are somewhat similar. Right? You live in a pretty similar part of the world that I do. And you have similar chickens to me. Good morning, good morning. Okay. I'm gonna head out pretty soon. Pretty soon. A commune of your own. Yeah. Family farm, commune. It's the same deal. Well, Krugs, I would have to say it's both. 7 of you on the farm. Yeah, that's very similar. How many people are here now? There's like 13 here now. So we're about twice the size. I plan on getting a lot more tattoo work done, Meg. I have tattoos on my feet as well. I can't show them to you today because I'm wearing socks, but ask me again some other time when I'm not wearing socks and I'll show you. Hello and goodbye. Thank you for the presents. Thank you for all of the well wishes. Y'all are really lovely. Yeah, I'm gonna go, let's see, with any luck, I'm going to film and edit and post a TikTok all in one day. I know it's not terribly impressive. People do that all the time, but I'm slow. I'm slow with the films that I made. I berate myself for being slow all the time, but I have the rest of the day off so I can make a TikTok. And, hopefully it'll be a good one. So, I will see you all tomorrow, and, thank you so much for all the lovely well wishes. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye. Have a great day.